Hey there, I'm Peter Michaels. We're back at Beau's Barn Stage for the new year, and we've got a new beer to try from Field Forge Brewing. This is Vince, the head brewer at Field Forge. Welcome.
Thank you, Peter. Excited to be here.
I'm really excited to know, how did you get into being a brewmaster?
Well, I started in my tiny little apartment, and in fact, my wife wouldn't actually let me make beer in the apartment, so I ended up having to do it out on my balcony on what was a popular street. And you can imagine the strange looks I got, with a giant pot of something boiling on top of a balcony. So.
And when did you first know that this was a career you wanted to travel down? Because, I mean, typically if you're under 18, you shouldn't be thinking about making beers. What age were you when you decided, hey, beer's a route I want to go down?
Well, I kind of wish I had started thinking about it when I was 18, because it was about 10 years later that I was actually brewing beer. But I honestly, I just kind of stumbled into it. I was an avid home brewer, and I lost my job as an electrical estimator, and I didn't want to go back to doing what I was doing, so I did a bit of soul searching, and somebody took a chance on me.
Well, I'm sure glad that happened, because you've got the Marshmallow Porter from Field Forge that we're going to try today. Talk a little bit about the temperature of the beer when you're drinking. I think the age-old adage is, oh, I could go for an ice-cold beer. But typically with these porters, ice-cold might not be the way to go.
Yeah, and I think anybody that's advertising the coldest beer possible is probably trying to trick your taste buds into tasting a lot less than you might otherwise taste. But in any case, drinking beer, the warmer you taste it, the more flavors you're going to get out of it. And these bold types of beers, for instance, a porter, is one of those prime examples of something that you do want to drink a little bit warmer. So, in the case of our porter, personally, when I pull it out of the fridge, I like to leave it on my counter for maybe 15, 20 minutes before I actually drink it. Or if, I'm at an establishment just like Beau's, maybe I'll order it when I'm halfway through my previous pint so that it gets a chance to warm up before I actually get to it.
Awesome. That is very insightful. Okay, well, let's give the Marshmallow Porter a try, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the flavor profile.
Absolutely.
Cheers. Oh, my goodness. That does not disappoint at all. Wow. I was wondering how much of the marshmallow impact would be there, and it really does have that nice, sweet, vanilla-y taste to it. So I read that it's homemade marshmallow. So obviously, we're a craft brewery. We're not going to go buy the generic store shelves. You're making your own marshmallows?
One of the things that really was important for me when making this beer was that I didn't want to give you a glass of melted marshmallows.
Right.
I wanted to put a porter that tastes fantastic up front with, that nice that complementary marshmallow in the background. And I think that's exactly what you're getting. Up front, you get those dark, roasty, coffee flavored notes with very little bitterness, and then it just kind of finishes off with vanilla and marshmallow. And then back to the, how we actually got the marshmallow flavor. I looked up how they made marshmallows 100 years ago, and it turns out they made them with a marshmallow root, which is obviously no surprise.
Yeah.
And I think it turns out that marshmallow root is actually pretty prevalent here in Alberta. Don't quote me on that. But basically, I took out all the binding agents out of an old marshmallow recipe, and it really came down to marshmallow root, a little bit of vanilla, and some extra sweetness. So
That's unbelievable. The only thing we're missing here, and I don't think Brennan would let us do it, but like a nice little campfire on the table would be perfect right now to go along with this.
Agreed.
All right, the Marshmallow Porter from Field Forge. Come and check it out at Beau's. Cheers.
Thanks, Peter.